Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Six. This is just a quick video on what you should be doing for this week. We had our live session today and when we went through trying to explain some things, there was a little bit of confusion and so I wanted to clarify and make sure everyone knew exactly what they should be doing for today and the rest of the week. So here's your schedule for the week, and basically I went in and I changed this schedule just a little bit so you can see exactly what you need to do. But there this week are different folders that you're going to be going into. So there's a learn folder, a read folder, and then there's going to be a practice folder. So if you go back into the classroom and if you click up at the top and you click poetry, so if I go in to the classroom and I um, click on, sorry, I'm trying to give you a better view of what you're going to be looking at or what you should be looking at. But when you click on poetry, which is going to pop up here, when you click on that, what you're going to end up seeing is, sorry, this screen. And basically, it's going to give you the option to go into week 1 or week 2. And it's going to give you some folders. So you're going to have a learn folder, a read folder, and a practice folder. So if we look in the learn folder, so this is the learn folder right here. If we look in that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lesson pages that you should be looking at. If we go back into the classroom, into the home page, and we look at the announcement, you're going to see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are the 6 pages that you're looking at. So 60 seconds, English, imagery, figures of speech, personification, hyperbole, and understatement. 60 seconds, imagery, figure of speech, personification, hyperbole, and understatement. What you're going to notice is that these aren't going to be super long when you're looking at them. So like the 60-second vid is a video and the rest are going to be short lesson pages. So what happens is when you click on either of these, they're pretty much the exact same thing. So when you go into imagery, you only need to read one of these. One is a little bit different. Some of them are not different at all. They're quite similar. One might be a little bit different, but the content itself is the same. It's just giving you that content maybe in a different format. So it's up to you whichever one you want to read, but know that you only need to click on one of these. You do not need to click on both of them, okay? So that's something that you are definitely going to want to make sure that you're not wasting your time going through both because they're obviously the same thing. So as we go back and we look at the classroom again. So after you go in and you read those lesson pages in the learn folder, then you're going to pop down to the next folder, which is the read folder. And basically you're going to be reading how to read a poem, speaker versus poet, poetic structure, and rhyme. So if we go back into the classroom and we look at, so we were in the learn folder, now we're moving down to the read folder. So if we look at that, we're looking at, sorry, I'm moving that back up because that's the first thing that you're doing. How to read a poem. So let me make sure that that was correct. Yes, how to read a poem. So that's the first thing you're going to look at. Then the next thing is speaker versus poet, poetic structure, and then rhyme. So you're looking speaker versus poet, poetic structure, and rhyme. So those are what you're looking at for the other part of what you should be doing today. So that kind of ends what you're doing. So if you've read these lesson pages or watched the videos, read these lesson pages, then you're good for the day. Come to Class Connect. If you need a question or if you have questions or need help, pop into my open office hours. You're good there, right? So then tomorrow, what you're going to be doing is you are going to be reading week 1 poems. So what does that mean? So that means you're going to go into the class and you're going to read the poem. So you're going to be looking, and I'm going to switch these around. You're going to read week 1 poems. So week 1 poems are right here. So that's in the read folder, and I'm going to put in the read folder up there so that it clarifies where to locate those a little bit. But we're going to read in class tomorrow, Introduction to Poetry on Tuesday. We're going to read that. So we're basically just covering that in class together. But the next thing that you're going to be looking at is this new Colossus. That's what we're going to actually be doing an assignment with, or one of the reading, one of your practice, what's it called? Sorry. The poetry notebook. We're going to be using the poetry notebook for that. So if we look at that, you're doing those two readings. So that's what you're looking at for Tuesday. So we're going to be reading Introduction to Poetry and the New Colossus. Then after you read the New Colossus, and like I said, we are going to be looking at this in the Class Connect session on Tuesday. You're going to go into work on skill analysis and mood worksheet. So where is that located? And I'm going to, again, like I said, I'm going to put that information in there because it just needs more clarification. So as we go back to the classroom, I'm going to go back. Sorry, I thought I had it pulled up. I'm going to go back to week 1. And when we go back into week 1, remember you had a read folder and you had a learn folder. Then you also had a practice folder. So the practice folder is where you're going to locate that actual worksheet that you need. And it's going to be put in a group of 3 worksheets because you're going to be reading 3 poems, right? Remember, you're reading 3 poems. So if we look at the poetry notebook, that's due at the end of the week, and we open it up. It's in a PowerPoint, right? So I'm going to open that up, and it's going to pop over on my other screen. So give me just a second. But we're going to look at that, and you're going to only be looking at the first worksheet that we're doing. So you have an introduction page, tells you, oops, didn't mean to do that, has an introduction page. Then it has this skill analysis mood. So that was the worksheet that we were talking about. So if we go back to the home page and we look at what you're looking on, work on skill analysis mood worksheet. So that's what we're working on tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, we're working on the close read. So where's the close read? It's in that same PowerPoint, close read and annotating. So that's what we're working on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we're working on the 4 square. So if we go back to our schedule for the week, what are we doing? We're reading that 3rd poem and working on the 4 square. Wednesday, we're reading the 2nd poem, working on that 2nd slide in the PowerPoint. So by the end of the week, you're going to have 1, 2, 3 of these complete. That's going to make up your poetry notebook part 1. You're going to submit them all together at the same time. You do not submit them separate. I will not take them separate. I will not take them one by one. You're going to submit all 3 of them together. So what does that mean? You're going to, as you're working on these, so on Tuesday, and as you're working on these, you're going to make sure you save this. Save them all together. And then on Wednesday, you're going to go in and work on this. And then you're going to save it. And then on Thursday, you're going to go in and work on this, and you're going to make sure you save it. When you are all done, you will then upload it to the Dropbox for that assignment. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of clarification. And I'm going to make this a little bit more clear as well. So with that, you now have all of the things that you need in those folders. So one second. All right, sorry about that phone call in the middle of recording. So, but again, just to clarify, the poetry notebook that's due on the 18th, just make sure that's all submitted at one time, right? You're not submitting those. You're not submitting these separately. You're submitting them together. So all of this whole. All 3 of these are completed and submitted together. Okay, so that's just super important to make sure that you understand. I want to just clarify that. So then the other thing I want to just chat with really quick, which is something I added to this week, and you're going to notice this every week on Friday, you're going to have a grammar lesson and quiz. So along with that poetry notebook, there's also a capitalization quiz that was added to this week. So those are going to open on Thursdays. They're due on Friday. They're really short 5-question quiz. Should not have a whole lot of problem with it. They're set up that you can take them twice. So if you fail it, or if you get a C and you want an A, however that works out for you, you're going to have the option to complete that twice if you need to. Okay, so just make sure that that's something that is new that you're aware of as well. So I think that's it. So hopefully that clarifies for you a little bit of what's going on for week 1. So again, this is what you're doing on Monday. This is what you're doing on Tuesday. I'm going to go in and make this a little bit more clear to let you know where these are located so I can clarify those. Again, same here where these are located. But basically, just know that if you're looking for the poems that actually get the poems that you're looking for to read them, that they are in the read section of week 1 in that read folder, and it's going to say read the poems, so you know exactly where to find the poems that you're looking for. Okay, so when we look here again in the read folder, read week 1 poems right here. That's where you're looking, okay? So that's where you're going to find all the poems that you need for week 1. So, all right, have a fantastic week, everybody. I will see you in Class Connect. And if you have questions, please do not hesitate to call, ask, email, whatever you need. Thank you.